Hello, and welcome to the His and Her Show with Jody
and Alex Misiak.
And today we are going to be talking about being calm in the chaos. Being parents, and we have a 2 and a 4-year-old, it's mostly chaos. So how do we stay calm when, the kids are running around or, there's food everywhere and just, everything's all over the place? How do we stay calm in that chaos? And that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, and this is challenging personally for me, and I'm sure it's challenging for other parents out there. Even if your kids are older, it's just a different flavor of chaos, I think.
Running from one sport event or a different event to another.
Yeah, that's organized chaos. Yes, there's a difference there, but it still feels like chaos.
It's still getting out the door, and I know chaos even in the mornings, getting our daughter to school. So chaos all the time.
Yeah. So how to stay calm while it's all happening. That is a trick. Taking some time, in the midst of it. Obviously, if no one's hurt or about to be hurt, because there's always a chance of that as well. If you've got 2 very rambunctious kids that are piling on each other.
Or more than 2.
Or more than 2, yeah. I wonder how single... If you just got one kid, there's probably still chaos. There's that tantrum. There's always going to be something like that, just because kids can be unpredictable. So.
Well, they're still learning. Well, they're learning, exploring, and having a good time.
Yeah, they're trying to push their boundaries, and learn and figure out how to work in society, basically. So for me, because I feel like the chaos gets to me a lot. I do take if no one's going to be hurt or in immediate danger, like if there's just screaming and running around or whatever else, then I try to step back a bit mentally.
You bail on me and leave me. I'm teasing. Sorry.
I may feel like that sometimes, but what I try to do is I step back and I just count. Right, I count to 10. I know how ridiculous that sounds, perhaps.
Not really.
It does work. It really does. When someone says, hey, take a step back and count to 10, you're like, seriously? But it does force you to slow down.
And I actually find counting, some parenting books, it's even something we've read ourselves, where it's like counting doesn't work because kids don't listen. But our kids really, when I start counting 1, 2, Anastasia knows that when I get to 3, she's going to listen. Like, it's kind of like the switch in their head, like, oh, and it's not like I'm mad about it. It's like, when I count to 3, it's like, I'm going to count to 3. And when we're here, like, you're going to either listen or we're going to do, X, like something that's not what she wants. And in those moments of counting for myself, that's when you breathe. It's in those calm moments. So counting to 10 is great, and it can work for the kids and for you. It's really just... But you need to not be angry in those 10 minutes, or try not to be. It's, calming it down in those 10 minutes. But counting to 10 can really be helpful. Or even 3. Yeah,
it does force you to slow down. I generally need 10. 3 doesn't cut it. For me, I generally need 10. And that certainly helps a lot. I'm trying to think what else to do, like remain calm. Part of the counting is you're not doing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like that's not it. Like it's a slow count with a breath.
1, breathe. 2.
I don't think I go that slow, but I do count slowly normally, and I do breathe while I'm counting. So it's probably like 1, 2, and then I'm breathing as I'm going. That's and that helps at least calm me down, and I can assess the situation and try and diffuse whatever is going on. I'm trying to think of other quick calming techniques.
Getting yourself out of the situation. I like the bathroom. You go there and you just take a couple minutes. Like you said, though, make sure the kids are, in a good state. And then you just disappear for a minute and you breathe. And I sometimes bring in a book, and that just takes me right out of the chaos. Depending on what it is, it just takes me out, pulls me away from the chaos. And that really helps as well, as taking yourself out of the situation just for a minute. It gives you that bigger breath. instead of just counting to 10. And that's why I love having a book always on hand too. It's just getting out of the room. The bathrooms are great one. You close the door. Our kids mostly know not to disturb when we're in the bathroom anymore. We used to have an open door policy, and we still do. But usually if the door is closed, they don't bother us. So it's closing that door and just taking a minute.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that getting, I can't imagine that going away as they grow up. Mm-hmm. Like they're even more inclined to give you that space as they grow older. And
we're kind of teaching them that we need our space too. Like when it's chaos, and instead of like losing our cool, yelling at our kids, or, getting caught in their chaos, you remove yourself from the situation for a minute and just, get, to a place of like balance or whatever it needs to be for everybody, because everybody's different, and really just come from that parenting, loving place again. And it's just it's filling up your bucket for a very quick second just to like get you through that chaos.
Yeah, I think
just stepping out. But like I said, it really shows them that like when they're having moments and they don't want to be in the chaos anymore either, because there's some times where Anastasia bugging Jaden or Jaden's bugging Anastasia, and one of them doesn't want to be in that chaos anymore either. So it's teaching them that they can too take themselves out of the situation and take a breather. Even when Anastasia's having, a rough day, we're like, hey, you didn't nap or you didn't rest. How about you take a 5-minute, relax time in your room? Not a timeout, but relaxing where she can just be mindful. And that's really what we're doing. So we're teaching our kids as well. Take themselves out of the chaos.
You're right, because it may seem like a timeout on the surface, but it's not really, because we don't put them in their rooms and close the door or try and force them to stay in a corner. That wouldn't work on our kids anyways.
We just say, maybe you just need to have a little bit of alone time or rest time. And so when we do that ourselves, we're now mirroring that same behavior for those moments as well.
That's true.
Now, the other thing I'd like to mention is setting yourself up even before the chaos begins. I'm very much a big believer in prevention, not just prevention for health, because, it's really good to take care of our bodies before it gets to the point of it needs repair, but also our mind. Prevention of losing our cool. And what this looks like is, if you can, get up before your kids, meditate, have that quiet time, enjoy your coffee while it's hot. And, or where you're I know Jaden always wants to drink mine. It's like, no. So it's trying to get ahead if you can, if it works into your schedule, and setting yourself up. Or if you have a chaotic day, because not everybody's home with their kids. So maybe they're chaos in the office. This still works with, you can listen to ebooks, podcasts on the way to work. And it's really just setting yourself up for a really good, successful time through chaos. It's really building that foundation for when chaos breaks, because it can happen. We're parents, it goes. And if you're going to have a busy day of running from one place, one event, I know I've met parents where they had 3 different events in one day. And it's like, if you're going to have those kinds of things, it's setting yourself up the night before. Maybe it's prepping things so you don't have to be, looking around for lunches or different things. And then it's also, so that's great physically, but then it's also important to set some time aside, meditate, visualization, visualize your day as you would like to see it, calm. And maybe it won't be all calm, but you're already in that state of calm when the chaos hits.
Yeah, that's definitely a good tip to have if you go to an office or you have a chaotic job in general. If you know you're heading for chaos, that sounds like a good thing. That should be something I should incorporate more into my regular work day. I do the same thing, just not listening, because it's a little harder with our son running around. I do books. You see me. I always have a book on the go. And I have it where I can just set it down at any point. And it's those audiobooks instead of listening to it I don't have a commute. So it's just reading here and there for 5-10 minutes, wherever I can fit it in. And it really just, it kind of helps your mind and your thoughts and everything just kind of
you're reminded, like at least the books I read, they're very positive books and inspiring books, and it just always helps me remember to keep, my focus on my thoughts and my present moment and all those things. So just really listening and focusing on those things really help. So if you can't, listen to audio throughout your day, it's really helpful though. I need to figure out how to do it on my phone and have those play, and I could actually have an earbud in when I go for walks or, different things. So it is doable. I just always find that paper works better for me.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's something else we can, like, there's chaos, like when you're in the middle of chaos, and the chaos is usually, sometimes it's like with our kids right now, because they're young, it's usually focused on an item usually.
Yeah, yes.
Right, so it's like, okay, what can you offer or suggest for that kind of thing?
Well, and it's chaos before bed too. But
yeah,
routine, when we do the routine though, and if it's in the same order as a routine, do you find that it's a little less chaotic?
Yes.
I find when we take them out of the way, like for example, last night, you and I went out to visit with a family member, and they were with their aunt. And then when we came home, it was bedtime. So their whole routine, we weren't home to follow each step accordingly. And we just came home right at the beginning of their bedtime instead of being home beforehand. And that really threw a little bit of chaos into our evening. Not a lot, but kids really thrive, is that the word? On routine. So were you going to mention, did you want to do something about the chaos and the time?
Yeah, I wanted to just clear my throat.
Oh,
sorry. Like what else to do? Yeah, sometimes, like you said, sometimes it's removing the person from the chaotic situation, and other times it's removing the item as well. And that will maybe make things worse temporarily, but then I feel like sometimes that diffuses the situation very quickly.
Oh, those items can be on timeouts.
Yes, the items can be on timeouts.
I'm sure a lot of parents is like, if, maybe it's a TV or a video game or even anything else, if it's being misused, it can also have a little bit of a break time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's the same. And each parent, like, we all have different parenting styles, and that's what makes us all unique. So I don't want to get too much into the parenting techniques. It's just keeping the calm when it gets chaos, because every family will have their own style of things.
Yeah, I do find that when it's an item, the timeout should be for the item or whatever, or removing it from the chaos. It shouldn't be very long. It shouldn't be like, okay, well, this is going away for a day or a week, unless your kids are much older and they just keep, you know what I mean? Like the punishment's got to fit. The
time away from the item.
The time away from that item has to fit like your kids and their age and everything else, and the item in question as well. Like,
but the biggest thing I want to emphasize on being calm in the chaos, because yes, you can take something away from your children. It's about being centered yourself as a parent. So it's being calm yourself. Or if you're not taking yourself out of the situation, it's very much about, that's why like parenting books can be great. They are filled with information. They help you sometimes, but it's really us as parents that really need to look inward a lot of the time. We don't have to look outward. Our children are children, and it's looking inward to ourselves to really come from that place. And I've learned through a lot of my parenting that, I've read books about potty training, and none of those techniques worked. And the moment I went within, Anastasia's toilet trained that day. So it's really about building ourselves up, taking care of ourselves, so that chaos isn't so hard on us.
Yeah. And I mean, like, when I say take an item out of the equation, because I've done both ways, because I wasn't mindful, and if you're giving into the chaos, or if I'm like, let's use me, like if I'm giving into the chaos and I'm, our kids will feed off of that, and it gets worse. So even if I take the item away, if I'm doing it angrily, or not from a centered, calm place, it just makes things worse.
Yes.
So, but I have done it the other way where I'm far more calm and centered, and then the item goes away, and then I find that the situation diffuses very quickly.
Our kids feed off of our energy. So if you're angry, they can sense it, and then they'll just keep pushing those buttons. They know what buttons to push. So that's why I say it's either, like you said, count to 10. I love getting myself out of the situation. If I can't sometimes just taking a small step back is really helpful. And like I said, reading a book, like even if it's a paragraph, it really just shifts my way. Especially if it's something that's about loving or being mindful of our thoughts and things like that. It really just shifts my thoughts in an instant. So it's really, yeah. So what I'm trying to say here with the calm and the chaos is it really starts with us, you, the parent, to maybe you can't control your kids. Well, you can, I guess, if you have like crazy, you have structure and so we can't control other people. We can set boundaries for our children. We can set rules. We can set whatever you want, restrictions, whatever you want to call it. But it comes from us first and foremost. They feed off our energy. When we're happy, they're more happy. And it's really funny. When you parent from a place of love, things usually run a lot smoother. So like when I say you're calm on the inside, it might not mean that the house is calm and there's no chaos, but you'll just feel more calm and can parent from that place of love a little bit better.
Awesome.
Do you have any last minute?
No, that sounds about right. Like being in the eye of a hurricane sometimes. That's the calm stillness.
Yeah, exactly. The eye of the hurricane.
Everything else is going around you, yeah.
Because life as parents, it's just, that's going to happen. Kids are kids, and it's fun, and we don't have to, that's why some of the time I'm not so strong on parenting books, because it's about controlling your kids, when it starts with us, in my opinion. Now, everybody has their own right to have their own opinion. So, so it's just staying calm in that chaos. So I hope you stay calm. Well, here's staying calm in the chaos, or the eye of the hurricane. We hope you have a beautiful day. Bye for now.
Take care.